It's hard to believe that Forrest Gump first hit theaters 31 years ago, leaving a lasting impact on audiences worldwide. The film became an instant classic, winning multiple Academy Awards and cementing itself in pop culture history. But what has happened to the cast since then? While Tom Hanks went on to become one of Hollywood's most celebrated actors, others took different paths, some stepping away from the spotlight, some facing personal struggles, and sadly, a few are no longer with us. In this video, we look back at the stars of Forrest Gump, exploring where they are now in 2025 and how their lives have changed over the years. Bob Penny played Crony in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 59, portraying one of the barbershop men who shared in the town's local gossip and humor. Crony's character was a background figure, a man of routine and familiarity, symbolizing the everyday, unnoticed individuals who make up the fabric of a community. Penny, originally an English professor, drifted into acting later in life, finding modest success in small film roles, yet he never truly belonged in Hollywood. He was never a leading man, always a face in the background, and his career, though steady, lacked the recognition he quietly longed for. His personal life was equally unremarkable. He never married, never had children, and spent his later years in solitude, watching as the industry moved on without him. As he aged, his health declined, and he became increasingly isolated, haunted by the quiet realization that he would leave behind little legacy. On December 25, 2022, at 87, he died alone from natural causes. Al Harrington played local anchor number 1 in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 59, appearing as one of the many news reporters documenting Forrest's extraordinary life. His character represents the relentless media, ever-present yet detached, reporting on greatness while never being a part of it. Harrington, a Samoan-American actor, found some fame through Hawaii Five-0, yet he was never a household name. Typecast into roles that fit his ethnicity, he struggled to break into more substantial parts, constantly battling an industry that saw him as nothing more than an exotic face. His personal life was stable on the surface, he was married with children, but behind closed doors, the pressure of Hollywood's racial limitations weighed heavily on him. As time passed, the roles dried up, and he faded from the industry, spending his later years in quiet retirement. He passed away on September 21, 2021, at 85, his legacy reduced to fleeting appearances in films where he was never the star. Daniel C. Striepeke played the recruiter in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 64, bringing to life the firm yet persuasive figure who guides Forrest into military service. The recruiter represents authority and manipulation, a cog in the machine that sends young men into war without second thought. Striepeke, however, was not primarily an actor but a legendary makeup artist, working behind the scenes on some of Hollywood's biggest films, including Planet of the Apes and Saving Private Ryan. Despite his contributions, he was never truly celebrated, his name rarely headlined, his work taken for granted. His personal life mirrored this struggle for recognition. Though he was married with children, the long hours and relentless demands of Hollywood strained his relationships, leaving him distant from his family. In his later years, he suffered from health complications, his once steady hands weakened, his talents rendered useless by age. On December 17, 2019, at 88, he died of natural causes. Bill Roberson played the fat man at bench in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 36, portraying one of the many strangers who listened to Forrest's tale. His character represents the fleeting nature of human interaction, people who come and go, barely registering in the lives of those around them. Roberson's acting career was brief, his appearance in Forrest Gump one of his only major roles. Before Hollywood, he lived an ordinary life, with no grand ambitions, no burning desire for fame. His personal life was filled with quiet struggles. He was married but endured years of loneliness within his own home, estranged from his children, who saw him as little more than a relic of the past. As old age crept in, he suffered from deteriorating health, his body failing him as he lived out his final years in a state of gradual decline. On November 18, 2017, at 59, he died from natural causes, a forgotten face in a film that endured far beyond his own time. Joe Alaskey voiced President Nixon in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 42, bringing to life the infamous political figure with his signature vocal precision. Known for his work as a voice artist, Alaskey was a successor to Mel Blanc, taking on iconic cartoon voices, yet despite his talent, he never fully stepped out of Blanc's immense shadow. His career, while prolific, was fraught with frustration, as he struggled to establish an identity of his own. Personally, Alaskey's life was riddled with sadness. He never married, and as the years passed, his loneliness grew, compounded by health issues that slowly took their toll. In 2016, he was diagnosed with cancer, a battle he fought largely alone, with no family by his side. On February 3, 2016, he passed away at 63, his death a sobering reminder of how easily even the most talented voices can fade into silence. Nora Dunfee played the elderly Southern woman in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 79, embodying the warm, wise, and quintessentially Southern charm of a woman whose brief scene leaves a lasting impression. A lifelong acting coach and stage actress, Dunfee never found major Hollywood stardom, instead dedicating her life to training others, watching as her students found the success she never attained. While she found fulfillment in teaching, there was always a lingering sadness, a feeling of being left behind, of knowing she was capable of more but never quite getting the chance. Her personal life was stable but tinged with quiet sorrow. She married fellow actor David Clarke, and together they lived a modest life, but their later years were marked by financial struggles and declining health. In December 1994, just months after Forrest Gump was released, she passed away at the age of 78 from natural causes. Sally Field portrayed Mrs. Gump in 1994 at the age of 48, embodying the devoted, fiercely protective mother who instilled in Forrest the values of love and perseverance. Despite critical success, she suffered professional setbacks, facing long periods where roles for older women were scarce, leaving her to fight tooth and nail for meaningful work. Field's personal life mirrored her professional struggles. Her marriage to Stephen Craig ended in divorce, followed by a tumultuous relationship with Burt Reynolds that was marked by emotional volatility, unfulfilled dreams, and deep regret. She bore 3 sons, but her relationship with them was often strained, as she wrestled with the guilt of balancing motherhood and career. Diagnosed with osteoporosis in her 60s, Field found herself physically weakened, a cruel irony for a woman who once played such strong-willed characters. Now, at 78 in 2025, she lives quietly, largely removed from the spotlight. Tom Hanks played the iconic role of Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 38, bringing to life a man of simple innocence who unwittingly becomes entangled in some of history's greatest moments. Hanks, a 2-time Academy Award winner, saw his career skyrocket, but success came with a price. While beloved by audiences, he struggled with immense pressure, always expected to live up to his larger-than-life roles. His first marriage to Samantha Lewis ended in heartbreak, marked by infidelity rumors and growing resentment, and though he later married Rita Wilson, their relationship suffered under the weight of his career. Despite his wealth and fame, Hanks faced personal tragedies. His son, Chet, battled addiction, bringing public scrutiny and shame to the family. In 2013, Hanks revealed his struggle with type 2 diabetes, a condition that worsened over the years due to the physical toll. Now, in 2025, at 68, he remains a Hollywood legend, but his once boundless energy has waned, and he rarely appears in public. Michael Connor Humphreys played young Forrest Gump in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 9, portraying the innocence and determination that made Forrest so endearing. While his performance in the film earned him recognition, his career took a sharp turn after Forrest Gump when he struggled to find other acting opportunities. As he grew older, Michael faced emotional struggles with the disillusionment of childhood fame, and he struggled with mental health issues, including depression. His personal life was marred by a brief marriage that ended in divorce, leaving him feeling isolated. Now 40 years old in 2025, Michael works in veterans advocacy and has stepped away from acting. His life remains far from the glitz of Hollywood, but he continues to search for a sense of peace while grappling with the emotional aftermath of his fleeting fame and unfulfilled dreams. Sam Anderson portrayed the stern and authoritative principal in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 47, a role that marked him as a memorable figure in Forrest's early educational experiences. Although Sam continued to find acting work after Forrest Gump, his career never reached the level of success he had hoped for. He appeared in supporting roles in both television and film, but the recognition never came in the way he envisioned. His personal life was turbulent, marked by 2 failed marriages that left him emotionally scarred and estranged from his children. Health issues added to his struggles, and his career seemed to slip further away as the years passed. Now 77 years old in 2025, Sam lives in relative seclusion, far from the spotlight. His life, marked by professional disappointment and personal heartache, has become one of quiet resignation, and he continues to face the physical toll of aging while reflecting on a career that never quite fulfilled its potential. Peter Dobson played young Elvis Presley in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 30, a role that briefly thrust him into the limelight. His portrayal of the famous musician was short but memorable, and it seemed like a promising start for his career. However, Peter's career soon stalled as he struggled to find meaningful roles and became disillusioned with the Hollywood machine. His personal life was marked by multiple failed marriages and battles with addiction, which further isolated him from his peers. His struggles with substance abuse, coupled with his unfulfilled career, led him to spiral into depression. In his 50s, Peter found himself increasingly withdrawn from the entertainment industry. As of 2025, Peter is 60 years old, living a quiet and reclusive life, still battling the demons from his past. His career and personal life, full of unrealized potential, remain a painful reminder of the dreams he once had but never fully realized. Margot Moira played Nurse Louise in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 44, a compassionate figure who helped support Forrest during his time in the hospital. Margot's career, however, never took off after the film, and she struggled to secure significant roles. Her acting career dwindled as she faced an industry that wasn't kind to her, and she found herself typecast in minor roles. Personally, Margot's life was filled with challenges, including a painful divorce that left her feeling lonely and disconnected. She never remarried and struggled with feelings of inadequacy and depression. Over the years, she grew disillusioned with the fame she never achieved and the professional success that eluded her. As of 2025, Margot is 64 years old and has largely withdrawn from Hollywood. She lives a quiet life, far removed from the spotlight, still dealing with the disappointment of unfulfilled dreams and the emotional toll of her past struggles. Siobhan Fallon Hogan played the school bus driver in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 33, a small but important role in Forrest's early life. Although her portrayal was warm and welcoming, Siobhan's career was anything but stable after the film. She struggled with being typecast in similar roles and faced difficulty landing leading parts, leaving her with a sense of professional stagnation. Personally, Siobhan endured a painful divorce and the challenge of raising 2 children as a single mother, which often left her feeling overwhelmed. Her sense of personal fulfillment never quite materialized as she navigated the pressures of motherhood and an unsteady career. At 63 years old in 2025, Siobhan has distanced herself from Hollywood and lives a more peaceful life, focusing on local theater and her family. Although the frustrations of her career and personal life still weigh heavily on her, she continues to seek balance and contentment, finding solace in her quiet, uncelebrated life. Hanna Hall, who portrayed young Jenny Curran in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 10, embodied the innocence and carefree spirit of Jenny's early years. However, as Hanna grew older, the pressures of being a child star began to take a toll on her. While the film marked her acting career's peak, Hanna found it difficult to transition into adult roles. Her acting career struggled, and she faced battles with self-worth and identity, feeling disconnected from her childhood fame. Her personal life mirrored her professional struggles. Hanna married young, seeking stability, but the relationship crumbled due to emotional turbulence and the weight of her past roles. Despite having a child, her marriage ended in divorce, leaving her emotionally broken. Hanna retreated from the limelight and chose a life of solitude and self-discovery. Now at 40, she lives a private life, away from the public eye, focusing on her mental health and finding peace in anonymity. Robin Wright, who played Jenny Curran in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 28, took on a character that was as broken and beautiful as she was complex. Jenny's journey through love, loss, and addiction mirrored Wright's own struggles, as she became caught in a whirlwind of fame and personal pain. Despite her career success in The Princess Bride and House of Cards, Wright's personal life was filled with turbulence. Her marriage to Sean Penn was volatile and under constant media scrutiny, leading to emotional turmoil. Their divorce left Wright dealing with the aftermath of a toxic relationship, and while she tried to find happiness in future relationships, the scars from her past lingered. Her role in Forrest Gump was a beacon of hope for Jenny, but for Wright, her own hope was often dashed by personal battles with trust and emotional instability. At 58, Wright has found peace in her career but still contends with the lingering effects of her painful relationships, especially in her quieter personal life. Christopher Jones, cast as the boy with Cross in Forrest Gump, 1994, at just 12 years old, played a small but unforgettable role that touched Forrest's childhood memories. After the film, however, Jones struggled to find consistent acting work. The fame he briefly enjoyed evaporated as he faced the harsh realities of growing up in an industry that chewed up and spit out child stars. His life became a series of failed relationships, substance abuse issues, and missed career opportunities. His early marriage ended in divorce, and he struggled to maintain any semblance of stability. Personal demons, including alcohol addiction and a deep sense of inadequacy, haunted Jones for much of his life. As he entered his 40s, he withdrew from acting and sought solace in the quiet, away from the pressures of the industry. Now 42, Jones leads a private, almost anonymous life, trying to reconcile his past and accept the reality of what might have been. Jason Maguire, cast as the fat teen in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 16, was part of the high school setting that served as a backdrop for Forrest's journey. Maguire's career was limited, and after the film's success, he faced a rapid decline in opportunities. The pressures of being a young actor in a high-profile film took a toll on him, and soon after, Maguire fell into substance abuse. His personal life was marked by fleeting relationships and a marriage that quickly fell apart due to his ongoing struggles with addiction. His emotional state deteriorated, and he battled depression and feelings of failure. As his career continued to fade, Maguire found himself living in isolation, far from the fame and opportunities that once seemed so promising. Now 46, Maguire remains a quiet, reclusive figure, seeking solace in a life away from Hollywood's glare, coming to terms with a life of unfulfilled potential and personal loss. Brett Rice portrayed the high school football coach in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 40, providing the kind of support and motivation that helped Forrest realize his athletic potential. While his character's encouragement had a lasting impact on Forrest, Rice's career didn't experience the same kind of breakthrough. Despite his appearances in numerous projects, he was often relegated to supporting roles, and his career struggled to gain momentum. His personal life faced hardships as well, particularly his first wife's tragic battle with cancer, which ultimately led to her passing. This loss took a toll on Rice, who faced the painful aftermath of emotional grief and a subsequent divorce. He remarried, but his second marriage was short-lived and ended in separation due to work pressures and personal struggles. By 2025, Rice, now 71, continues acting but has largely faded from the public eye, dealing with regret over his missed career opportunities and a life marked by isolation and personal loss. Sonny Shroyer, who portrayed the college football coach in Forrest Gump, 1994, at the age of 59, brought a sense of authority and guidance to Forrest's college years. While his role in the film was memorable, Shroyer's personal life was filled with difficulties that overshadowed his career. Despite his initial success in the industry, Shroyer struggled with a marriage that ended in a bitter divorce. The split left him emotionally drained, and the isolation of his later years was compounded by financial instability. As his career slowed and the industry shifted, Shroyer faced increasing difficulties in maintaining his relevance in Hollywood. Now 89, Shroyer reflects on his life with a sense of regret, acknowledging missed opportunities and a sense of abandonment that has followed him into his later years. Though no longer in the public eye, Shroyer's legacy is one marked by unfulfilled dreams and the personal cost of fame. David Brisbin played the newscaster in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 42, delivering a performance that helped document the unfolding of Forrest's extraordinary life. Despite being part of one of the most iconic films of the decade, Brisbane's career never reached the heights he had hoped for, and he found himself typecast in smaller roles throughout the years. His personal life became a battleground as his marriage unraveled after 15 years. His wife left him, and they went through a bitter divorce, which took an emotional toll on Brisbane, leading to depression and struggles with alcohol. As his career faltered, he was distanced from his children, who chose to live with their mother. By 2025, at 72, Brisbane lives a quiet, solitary life. His career remains stagnant, and while he reflects on the fleeting success of Forrest Gump, he is left with the painful realization of how his personal struggles have overshadowed his career. Afemo Omilami portrayed the tough and disciplined drill sergeant in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 44 years old. His character played a crucial role in Forrest's military training, embodying the rigid structure and harsh discipline of the Army. While Omilami was a steady presence in supporting roles throughout his career, he never quite reached major stardom. His personal life, however, was marked by a series of emotional hardships, particularly 2 failed marriages. His second wife's death from cancer in 2015 left him devastated, and he struggled with the loss for years. The pain from his personal life, combined with his ongoing physical health issues, has led him to live more quietly in his later years. As of 2025, Omilami, now 74, is distant from the entertainment industry, living with the burden of both physical and emotional scars, quietly battling loneliness in his private life. Kirk Ward portrayed Earl in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 24, playing a minor yet memorable character in Forrest's journey. While the film boosted his visibility, Ward struggled to maintain any lasting success in Hollywood. His acting career was a series of fleeting roles, with typecasting preventing him from breaking into larger parts. Ward's personal life was no less turbulent, as he went through a painful divorce after his wife discovered his infidelity. The emotional strain of the divorce affected his mental health, leading to years of isolation and regret. His career continued to spiral downward, and his relationship with his children became strained as well. By 2025, now 54, Ward lives away from the public eye, working occasional jobs outside of acting. He reflects on the unfulfilled promises of his early career, burdened by the ghosts of his past mistakes. Mykelti Williamson portrayed Bubba Blue in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 37, delivering a heartfelt and loyal performance that made Bubba one of the most memorable characters in the film. While his career initially soared after Forrest Gump, Williamson struggled with typecasting, often being cast in similar roles. His personal life also became marred by struggles, particularly his divorce from actress Sherry Headley, which left him emotionally devastated. Williamson faced depression, and the emotional toll of his failed marriage took a deep toll on his mental health. While he continued to act, the success he had once dreamed of remained just out of reach. By 2025, now 68, Williamson lives a more solitary life, reflecting on the deep sorrow of his past. Though he has continued his acting career, he has become increasingly withdrawn, haunted by the life he had hoped for but could never fully attain. Don Fischer played the Army recruiter in Forrest Gump in 1994 at the age of 45, delivering a pivotal role that helped push Forrest into his military career. Although Fischer's role was integral to the plot, his own career did not experience the same trajectory. Despite several other film appearances, he was often relegated to background roles, never achieving the prominence he desired. His personal life, marked by a painful and public divorce, added to his emotional strain. Fischer's extramarital affair was the catalyst for the breakdown of his marriage, and he lost custody of his children in the aftermath. His relationships with his family members soured, and Fischer became reclusive. By 2025, Fischer, now 75, occasionally acts but has become a shadow of his former self, both personally and professionally. The regret of his broken relationships and stalled career haunts him, and his life is filled with solitude. Gary Sinise's portrayal of Lieutenant Dan Taylor in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 39 years old brought him widespread recognition. His character, struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, struck a chord with audiences and cemented Sinise as a talented actor. However, Sinise's own personal life was not without its difficulties. His first marriage ended in divorce due to his intense work commitments and the emotional strain of his career. Despite marrying again, he continued to struggle with his mental health, including bouts of depression and feelings of isolation. His dedication to supporting veterans through his foundation has been a significant part of his life, but even his charitable work couldn't erase the emotional pain he carried. Now 70 in 2025, Sinise remains active in advocacy, but still faces the quiet battles that have haunted him for decades, far from the fame and recognition he once knew. Richard D'Alessandro played the charismatic and rebellious Abby Hoffman in Forrest Gump, 1994, at 34 years old. His character, a figure of the counterculture movement, was part of a larger narrative that challenged traditional American values. Despite his memorable role, D'Alessandro's career failed to take off, with many of his subsequent parts falling into obscurity. His personal life was marked by heartbreak, particularly after a bitter divorce that left him estranged from his children. Addiction and mental health struggles worsened his situation, and he was in and out of rehabilitation centers throughout the years. At 64 years old in 2025, D'Alessandro's life ended tragically, leaving behind a legacy of unrealized potential and a life cut short by the very struggles he portrayed on screen. His passing was a painful reminder of how fame and success can be fleeting, leaving behind only the weight of personal battles. Who is your favorite character from Forrest Gump? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.